Hi everyone. So at the bottom of the deck is the Five of Wands, the Five of Spears in this deck. And it's a card about competition. Um, and remember, wands are about motivation and energy and things like that. So if you think about competition, it can be motivating. It can be, I like to use the example, if you've watched me, you've probably heard this of someone a runner, someone who runs during the week, and they do 5Ks on the weekend because it keeps them motivated to run during the week, and they don't worry about what place they come in. They just go against their own time, and that's the whole point of it. And it's just a personally motivated thing, and it has nothing to do with anyone else. And then you have the people who do the 5Ks on the weekend, and it's all about other people's, if they beat other people, and it's and that may be what motivates them, but it can perhaps turn it into a more stressful and less motivating. It's motivating, I guess, in a different way. It's motivating through like stress, or it could be motivating through kind of support and such. So my point is, it, it's a card about competition, and which can be good or bad. Um, the focus card is the Ace of Swords. So this is getting really clear about what you want, getting rid of all the baggage and things we attach, emotions and everything we attach to situations, and getting really clear and focused almost singularly on what we want, an idea, a thought, what we're trying to manifest this month. So let's look at some of the other cards and see how it's playing out. So in the work category, we have the Hermit, some soul searching. Oh, and the Three of Shields. Interesting. So I'm going to start with this card. So the Three of Shields is about, this is someone who's very hardworking. They just keep their nose to the grindstone and get things done. Like this is the type of person you want on your team. They probably don't make a lot of noise. They may not necessarily have the big ideas, although they could, but they tend to they just do their job. They don't cause trouble, and you can just they're like a rock. You can just count on them. They're also the type of people that don't tend to get the recognition that they deserve, and probably tend to quietly leave because of it, and no one really realizes that had they made some changes, they could have kept this really productive, important employee. Lots of times, because it is a 3, many decks have 3 people in it, so it can show, like the person doing the work, someone like reading, plans, and then someone supervising the whole thing. So, where are you out of those 3 people? And if you're one of those 3 people, pretend you're one of the other people, and try to gain their perspective and see if there's things that you can do to make the whole team work better. So it's all about teamwork. And are you pulling your weight? It's a positive card, though. It can also mean that someone's watching you, again, in a positive way. So maybe it's sort of, if you feel like you're one of those people that are just always doing the work, and no one seems to care or notice, this card is saying that someone is noticing. But there is some soul searching going on for you in the work category. So maybe some of you are not feeling appreciated or valued. And, there's always the value of knowing you're doing a good job. So that's wonderful. And, what type of recognition could you get? But it's kind of like, is this what I want to do? Is this feeding my soul? Is this a company that stands for things I believe in? And if the answer is no, the Three of Shields is some practical steps to take to change your situation. So the category over here is home and work, life outside of work. Oh, I love this card. The Six of Cups. This deck has some of my, this is like my special deck. It's sort of like my deck. I've had it for such a long time. And I read exclusively with it for probably almost 15 years. So I love, this reminds me of my childhood and teens and early adulthood, going to swimming holes with my friends, the dogs in there with the stick, and just being present and enjoying the simple things in life. That's what you do, especially when you live in a place like Vermont where you have, fairly harsh winters. You really enjoy the summertime. If we could only do that all the time, right? Well, it's paired with the Five of Swords. So the Five of Swords just like the Five of Wands, I say, is a card about competition. This is a card about compromise. And it's really, really difficult because when you feel like you have opposing thoughts and ideas about how to do something or about how things are, and sometimes there can be a line drawn in the sand, and it really makes things, and it can be very good to put your foot down like that, and it can also make a potentially solvable or workable situation absolutely unworkable. And sometimes, if you really look at the end goal, you may see that you both actually do have the same final goal, but different ways of going about it or different ways of looking at the situation. So I think paired with the Six of Cups, it's really sort of asking you to make sure you're keeping it simple. If there is conflict in the home, remember what's important in life. This is stopping and smelling the roses. Remembering where you guys started, if it's sort of a relationship or a partnership. Or maybe you're thinking, I want to get back to here. And things around the home used to be the Six of Cups. And then, real life comes in and you have relationships and kids. And sometimes it becomes here. And maybe the line in the sand is it can't be here. And it has to go back. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy the simple things in life. So a little bit of also some soul searching at home. Kind of, I think some parts are really good. And maybe with your kids, they're really good because the Six of Cups can be kids. But there is some conflict that maybe you're having trouble compromising. Because when you compromise, often both sides feel like they've lost in a way. But usually they've sort of won a little, had some things go their way and some things they've had to compromise on. So that's usually, some people will say, the sign of a good deal is when, if one side leaves like they feeling like they got everything, then maybe it wasn't really a good deal because the other person probably got shafted, So think about, if you compromise, are you compromising enough? Are other people in your house or your outside of work life compromising, or are they always just drawing lines in the sand? And you can't. How do you work with that? I don't know. I don't feel like you can. If someone always has to have something their way, how are you going to navigate and negotiate things in life where you have enjoyment and things you want if you're with someone that is so focused singly on them? So something to explore. So here it's actually the relationship category. The Page of Cups and the Ten of Wands. Pisces just got this in the same category. So unburdening yourself. The straw that broke the camel's back. This is the passion being sort of gone at this point. You start with the Ace of Wands, that spark, that passion. And by the time you get to the 10, it's like all but extinguished. You were doing okay with the 9. You were still standing. But this is showing that some part of your relationship life needs to to change. You need to unburden yourself. You need to let go. So it could be a relationship, or it could be some part of your relationship needs to be renegotiated. But you also have the Page. So this is a message about new beginnings, messages, offers, and this is a change in emotions. But it's interesting. In this deck, it's the Salmon. So the Salmon, there are times in their life when they do have to swim upstream, feel like they're going against things. So communicating that you're feeling overburdened. And I really feel like it ties back to this Five of Swords too. Communicating that, there has to be the give and take. You can't bear all the responsibility. And there's a lot to be said for bringing simplicity back into your life. So there may be some adjustments needing to be made in June for you guys. So get really clear on what your bottom line is, what you can and cannot live without, what is most important to you. So here's some overall spiritual guidance growth cards in this last category. And we have the King of Swords, that energy of the Ace of Swords too, getting very clear, cutting away, the truth coming out. Yeah, and a meeting of the minds. There needs to be a sit down. There needs to be a truce, but things really need to come out. And it's one of those times when you have to have the tough conversations that may end the relationship, that you may run the risk of ending the relationship. But if you don't go there, it's never going to get better. So the only chance of it getting better is having this tough conversation. And if you're at an impasse, well, then you're at an impasse, and then you can make the decision about where to go from there. But I really feel like moving towards peace and simplicity is very important to you. Keeping it simple and really focused on what's singularly important, which I think is peace and happiness and simplicity for you guys this month. So it's really important. A lot of thinking going on with the Hermit, but you need to, there's some things you need to unburden yourself with. And I think it's something that needs to be communicated to someone in your personal life. So thank you so much for watching, and you're going to feel so much better once you do this, even if you don't get the final outcome, the ideal outcome you're hoping for. The fact that you've gotten this off your chest and you've gotten it out in the open, it's like you couldn't go on the way it was anymore. So it's sort of something that has to be done, and then you'll have information with which to then make your plans to move forward, because you'll know where you stand. So thank you so much. I think that's what I'm doing. Yes, for watching. I hope you have a lovely month, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.